right, so we're going to go ahead and start recording. So tonight, Ashlee and Alex and I are going to be going over what we learned in the Senior Ruby and Above meeting at convention. And we were all sitting there listening to Victor Antonio speak, and we just looked at each other like, we're going to make a Zoom about this, right? And we're like, yeah, okay. Because it's that good. Like, we're sitting here taking notes. We're like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with our team. So just to kind of give you an overview, I know the title is The Psychology of Closing the Deal, but a lot of it is also the psychology of building up your team as well, and even yourself. So it's mostly mindset, along with some psychology of closing the deal. So I'm going to get started off with a few statistics to just kind of set the tone. And we learned these there too, but 75% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. 60% have less than $1,000 in their bank account. Medical expenses are the biggest cause of bankruptcy in the U.S., and money is the #1 cause of divorce in America. When you think about these statistics, and when I heard them for the first time, it just really hit me. I was like, wow, because it showed me that we are doing something great here. I mean, I already knew that. But it showed me even more so that what we're doing is we're helping people get out of these situations. Come here. It's okay. I know. What'd you say, Ash?
It reminds me of a quote where they, I can't remember who said it now, but they said that money isn't a big deal until you don't have any. And I felt that so recently, where I was no longer worrying about money, and that is such a free feeling from my entire childhood, all of my adult life. Like, this is just so different. And so to really, again, those statistics and just seeing exactly how real it is that money is such an issue for so many people. Like, we have something that these people need, not just the products, but the business opportunity too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate that. But also just really, medical expenses are the biggest cause of bankruptcy. And I've heard so many countless stories of people being able to get off certain medications and, to just be healthier in general, and even avoid getting on medications or, having, big major surgeries that they would have needed because they got themselves healthier with the help of our awesome products. And then with money being the #1 cause of divorce, I've been there. I've struggled where, we didn't have money. And like Ashley said, money's not an issue until you don't have any. And it's such an incredible stressor on the family and on the marriage and the relationship. And I'm actually kind of leading into my next point. Victor Antonio also brought up that the majority of people on welfare are actually Caucasian. And, if it weren't for Plexus, we would be in that statistic, because we were on WIC at one point, and we were looking into food stamps before I started with the company, because while Greg worked tirelessly and 40+ hours a week at a job that he was trying to make his career, it wasn't enough. They don't pay him enough. They still don't. And we were struggling badly. And so that just kind of sets the tone for this, was that I saw that we were spiraling into this, and we were becoming a part of these statistics. And I decided that I had to change it, and I had to do something different. And so I went out and I did. And so that kind of leads into our next point of, if I can do it and if others can do it, why can't you? Or why can't your potentials? Or why can't those 75% that are living paycheck to paycheck? If I can do it, why can't they? So I'm going to let Ashlee kind of go into some of the psychology behind that and some more tips.
Yeah. Okay. So he said, why can't people move up? There's a reason behind it. And it's called learned helplessness. And I want to give you guys a little example, a visual. Rachel, can you pull that up? We can actually kind of draw that up for them. Let's see if this works for you guys. Oh, okay. Hey, Rach, actually, Let me see. Here it is. Now I can do it. It wasn't going to let me do it at first. So, hopefully you guys can see never mind, you're just going to see the screen. Mommy. There is Rachel. If you want to go ahead and start like the box part of it, and then I'll start to explain what we're doing here. So he did this example of an experiment that these people did that included two dogs, dog A and dog B. And there's a purpose behind this, but basically they put, this was a real study that they did, they put a dog in a box.
Don't laugh at my dog.
It's okay. We like your dog. They put a dog in a box and they shocked the dog. It did not hurt the dog. It was just enough to be uncomfortable, like kind of like a vibration or something. So they shocked dog A. Those eyes, what even is that, Rachel?
I don't know what just happened.
It's okay. They put dog A in the box and they gave it a shock. For dog A, they gave it a button. And that button, once the dog realized that if it pushed the button, the shocking would stop. So then they put dog B in that same box, gave the same shocking, but didn't give it that option of a button. They didn't give it an option of an end in sight. So then they took both of those two dogs. Here, let's see. Rachel, let's go ahead and here.
Can we draw the wall?
What?
There.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, the wall. So we've got a shot coming in. Let me just get a pen here. Got a shot coming in from the side here. And they've given this dog, maybe it'll change the color for me, a button right here. All he has to do is hit that button, and this will stop right here. So then, let's undo some of those. We have dog B in there. He just keeps, poor little dude, like this makes me so sad. He just keeps getting gently shocked, and there's no end in sight for him. Then, two dogs. We're going to put dog A back in the box here. And what they did is, let's see, let me erase a little bit of this wall here. They put a wall up in this box. It's not letting me draw. There we go. They put a wall up for this dog. And they started shocking from the ground here. Dog A knew how to figure out a way away from the shocking. He knew that there was a way out. So all dog A had to do was jump over that wall. Now, unfortunately, as the story goes, wasn't the same situation for dog B. Dog B sat there and just continued to get shocked over and over and over again. All he had to do was come over here to the side, but he didn't know that that was an option. That is what we call learned helplessness. Rachel, if you want to go ahead and remove that off the screen, we can. So the only difference between those two is that the one found a way out of it. He was given an option originally, then he figured out how to do it. The other one learned that in tough situations, he was stuck. He didn't even look for another option because he was so used to that feeling of being stuck and helpless and that nothing was going to work out. Let me look at my notes here for you real quick. So that is called learned helplessness. We're going to learn how to mind our minds, like how to mind your mind. What you say to yourself when something goes wrong. There are 3 P's in this mentality sort of idea. The first P is personal. So with a personal mentality, you've got self-deprecation. So that person may say things like, with personal, it's actually 2 subjects, or there's 2 different categories. There is the pessimist and there's the optimist. So the pessimist is going to say something like, I'm such an idiot when something goes wrong, or I knew that was going to happen. They're just already, like, it's very personal for them. There's no way out. Like, it's just, life is horrible. And then there's the optimist that just goes, oh, well. So we can kind of compare the dogs. Dog A was the optimist. He went, oh, well, now I'm going to move past it, like going on to the next thing. Dog B was the pessimist. It's like, I just have to grin and bear this. Like, I just have to deal with it. And that's a very personal mentality. It's really sad, actually. I'm sorry. I'm still sad about the dog thing. P, number 2, is a permanent mentality, where there's a condition or a situation that's not going to change. So then they'll say things like, that'll never work for me. And then the third one is a pervasive mentality. And pervasive is a negative rooted idea, where they be pretty commonly, they'll say, I've tried it all, nothing works, or that didn't work for me. Those 3 P's are what equal into a belief system. So next, we're going to kind of talk about how to challenge that belief system, and to ask some logical questions to get people to go outside of that to go outside of that belief system that they already have. So there's those 3 different P's already. So you would do that by asking hard questions to challenge their beliefs. Now, the reason I say that is people get stuck in their mindset and they don't even realize that something that they might believe is not a reality. It's not real. It's a lie that they've been telling themselves, or it's a lie that someone else has fed them their whole life, or maybe more recently. But those things can be broken down, and if we can get past that barrier, we can then have a further connection with that person and help them past these roadblocks. So, we'd be asking them questions that are going to help them get past their roadblocks and help them realize that it's not what they thought it was.
Hey, Ash.
Yes.
I was just going to add to that. I've been reading this book, and I know I mentioned it before many times to multiple people, but I'm trying to look for the title because I always forget exactly what it is. But it's basically what to say when you talk to yourself, I think. That is the whole root of this book, and it goes into way more detail. But I've recently learned that what you say to yourself is what's going to come true. What's the recording in your mind, whether it came from your past or whether it came from, experiences or your family or friends telling you certain things your whole life, you just start to believe it and it becomes your belief system. And this goes for anything, whether it, from religion and politics to just your own confidence. What you're told your whole life plays a huge role into how you carry yourself and how you think. But many people don't even realize this. They get stuck in that learned helplessness of the poor dog, well, there's just nothing before there was nothing I could do. And so now there's still nothing I can do. And there's never going to be anything I can do. And, I'm such an idiot for just, sitting here and taking this, but, I've tried everything and it's never going to change. That sort of attitude, people get stuck in that and they don't even realize that they're lying to themselves and that they are self-sabotaging. And this is all kind of new information that I've learned, and I kind of knew, but I didn't know, if that makes sense. And just really having this realization has made such a huge change even in my own life. Ashlee and I were joking earlier, our whole lives, we've known each other for about 10 years now. And she's always been the optimist, and I've always been the pessimist. That's just how our relationship works. But recently, because I've been, doing a lot of self-growth and I've been reading this book, I've learned that the things that I'm saying to myself have been horrible, or at least not beneficial to my self-esteem or my business. So, me being I need to get 1,000 PV this month, but, I'm just so busy. That's just not going to happen. I just can't do it. Well, yeah, if I say that, then it's not going to happen. But if I say, tomorrow, I'm going to get this. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to figure out some time. I'm going to squeeze it in. I'm going to do this, and that, and just really kind of change my whole shift around, then it's going to happen. So if you're struggling to go gold right now, you're like, gosh, that's just so many people. I don't know how I'm ever going to do that. I don't know how anyone else has ever done that. I'm nobody. I can't do that. Or I don't have time for this. Or, making excuses and telling yourself these things that you believe are true. And they might be true. You are busy. But you have to change your whole mind around to, I can do this. Really, like Ashlee said, challenge your own belief system. Ask yourself the hard questions. Say, am I really too busy? Or am I just not good at managing my time? Different things to challenge what you actually believe with logic. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but just trying to really get outside yourself and get outside that belief system that you're maybe stuck with to kind of get over yourself in a sense. And Ashlee can attest to this. I'm the worst at that, of I can never get organized. I can never do this. And she's like, Rachel, shut up. Like, yeah, you can. But I'm finally learning to believe that myself, that, hey, I can do anything if I just tell myself I can do it. So
Yeah.
that's my tangent.
From the other side of that, if you have someone in your downline, like Rachel's mine, she's my little pessimist, you can encourage them. Like I was saying before, she was saying you can ask yourself those hard questions of, why is it that I'm doing this to myself? Why am I self-sabotaging myself? You can also ask your downline those same things. Asking them questions like, okay, well, why is it that you can't do that? How about shifting your mindset, like, okay, let's see how we can do this, and thinking on a more positive level. Another thing he had said was that negativity amplifies over time. And so the more negative that you are yourself, or the more negative your downline is, it's just going to get worse unless you can get that turned back around. Alex, you actually had, I think, an explanation or a little analogy about that. Do you know what I'm talking about? If not, I can.
Oh, yeah, earlier. I mentioned, I had a girl who mentioned, oh, I worked for a network marketing company a few years ago. It burned me. It didn't end really well. This isn't going to work out for me. This is already in the books as something that's not going to work. And all it took was that one bad experience with that one company that didn't get it right for her. And that completely altered her perception of network marketing. And us as Plexus ambassadors, we know that we've got something different. And unfortunately, those that have been burned by other companies aren't always super perceptive to jumping on board of a new ship in the same line of work with a completely different company, but that line of work has been ruined. So that one bad experience can completely amplify over time, and it will just become something that is permanent in their mind as something that's not an option or something that doesn't work.
Absolutely. I mean, and I can even, on a personal level, I strive very much so to be positive and to be gentle with my son. And say I snap and I yell at him. That one situation, I could take it and blow out of proportion and be like, I scream at my kid. I'm a horrible mother. Or I can move past that and make the mental choice to go, okay, you know what? That was one thing. We're beyond that. At all those other times, in all those different situations, how I handled it positively, I could tear myself down for that one thing, or I can turn it around for myself. Same things goes for our potentials and our customers. Maybe one bad thing happened and they haven't learned how to go past that. They haven't learned how to move past it and what they're really capable of doing. So with all of this, how do we change that mindset? How do we do that? I mean, it's so cool. I love what Victor had taught us, and I'm super excited. Alex, if you're ready, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we can take a look at the brain.
Yeah, I do want to share that, but before I move on, I kind of want to add to something that you touched on, Ashlee. I am a living, walking, breathing, plexus-loving example of a person who learned helplessness their entire life. I did not grow up in a very nurturing environment. I did not have those awesome parents that were around or were involved, and I was never really good at anything. So when I joined Plexus, or before I even joined Plexus, let me even back up a little bit. My initial thought, I put Plexus off for, what was it, like 6 months, Rachel? Oh. My initial thought was, if I've never been good at softball or math or science or whatever it might be, anything physical, because I always break something when I play physical activity, it never fails. Why is Plexus going to be any different? So when I finally took the plunge, this is so unlike me. I don't know what decided to wake up and decided that learned helplessness was not going to be a thing in my life anymore, you guys. But I woke up and I was like, if I'm going to do something I've never done, I've really got to do something I've never done, and I gotta be a new person. I gotta give it something I've never given it before. So I looked at this opportunity and I decided to take it as that. And failure has never been an option, and learned helplessness has been out the door. And for me to come into this as somebody who is an introvert, somebody with no prior training, somebody who originally pushed this opportunity off for months because why am I any different? Why is this going to be any different than softball was in 6th grade, y'all? It is, because I decided it was, and because I told, myself that my mindset wasn't going to get in my way. So I got out of my own way. I asked myself those hard questions, and it's working for me so far, because here I am, just under 18 months with the company, and I'm looking at my Lexus, you know, it's like right there, like I'm right behind Rachel, like I can see it, girls, I can see it, y'all, girls and guys. So living, breathing testament that your mindset is everything. But I am going to move on to the brain. I just kind of wanted to add that it's never too late to change that learned helplessness. So y'all can drop that at any time. Go ahead and do it. But I wanted to kind of talk about the psychology of closing a sale, and apparently my loud dogs are here to help. So I'm really excited about this, and if it sounds like I'm reading it off my paper, I probably am, because I was so excited. I wanted to make sure I gave you all of this information I felt like was so important. I've kind of been utilizing this personally and sharing it a little bit here and there with my team, with those who come to me who need this advice. And it's been working really well. So I'm going to talk about the actual psychology in the brain of closing a sale. Do you realize that the response, "I'll think about it," is a much bigger win than most people actually take it for? When you get that response, you've actually done 2/3 of the work on actually closing the deal. And this is why. Let me see here. The most common, or as Victor Antonio put it, archaic way to think about the brain is left brain and right brain. That's actually not the case when dealing with making a decision or analyzing taking a risk. They talked about how there are 3 common areas of your brain that are activated: emotion, logic, and survival. We find it really easy, most of us as ambassadors, to fulfill that emotional, that logical side of why they should join Plexus. Oh, she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, or he wants to be a stay-at-home dad too. Let me fulfill that emotional part of why filling. Or, oh, they need to make money. Well, logically, this can make them money. So let me explain that compensation plan to them to show them logically this is a good idea. We can appeal to those kinds of people and those aspects of the brain all day long, but if you're not appealing to that survival portion of the brain, you're not going to be able to close the sale. That survival portion of the brain is the portion that is like, oh my gosh, not only am I going to fail, but I'm going to fail out loud. I can't do this. Like, I can't. Basically, what people need from you is to tuck those fears into bed, lay those worries to rest, and give them a set plan for their success. Let me see. I said, in my notes I wrote down, most often what keeps an "I'll think about it" from being a yes is fear. Lack of a logically laid out plan that appeals to the survival instinct of our brains. So all in all, y'all, you can appeal to the emotional, the logical. You can tell them why this is great all day long, but if you don't literally map their success out for them, they're going to be a lot more hesitant about actually following through with joining your team, or, you know, following through with using the product. So, for example, you know, when people are thinking about joining my team, I lay out their success for them. For one, I highlight all the success that's in our upline. Our upline is full of emeralds, diamonds, double diamonds. Like, we kind of rock real hard, you guys. So I always play that up real big, because not a lot of people realize that. A lot of people actually have a big fear of network marketing, because most people don't know somebody who has been successful in network marketing. And to that, I look at my picture and say, "Hi, my name is Alex, and you know me. Let's have a conversation." And you can do that too, because you guys, you've joined this company, you started your business. That's a huge step in success right there, because that's the step that most people don't actually end up taking. So yes, even by just joining, you are a successful network marketer, because you're here and you're working your business and you're trying. So all of that being said, lay it out for them, whatever it might be. I have a pre-mentoring group. I do new ambassador orientation. I lay out the literal success that's right in front of them. And I find that doing that really helps people ease, you know, into the business with more confidence. So that's what I have. It's been working really well for me. I encourage you to really, really map it out, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable and be like, look, I'm going to hold your hand. We're going to do this. We're going to train once a week. I'm going to have level 1 Zooms once a month. We're going to have, you know, this, that, and the other. Lay it out and do it up to what they want from the business. You know, you don't want to overwhelm somebody that doesn't want to be a diamond. I'm going to this, that, and the other. We're going to do this, that, and that. And they're going to be like, whoa, like, slow down. So find out what they want from the business first, and then tailor what you're going to give them. Tailor that success plan that you lay out to them to their goals. That's really important. So yeah, that's what I have for you on the psychology of closing a sale.
So I'm just going to add on a couple of things that Alex was saying. So I actually, before we even learned about this from Victor, I realized that I actually did some of this before without even like having a name for it. I guess I just kind of figured it out through a lot of trial and error. And I noticed that when you get past that survival part of the brain, and what she means by that, like I have in my notes here, it says survival is where we lose our sales. It's kind of like a tripwire. Like logically, they know they should do this. Emotionally, they are invested. They have heard your testimony. They have heard others. They've heard the stories. They know it's going to work. They know they should do it. But then they have that fear because they're insecure for one reason or another. And like we talked about, it might even be learned helplessness. They are insecure and they jump back. And that's when, like Alix said, when they're like, oh, well, I need to think about it. I'm not saying that the sale's completely lost at that point, and when I say sale, I also mean signing ambassadors as well. It doesn't mean that it's completely lost. It just means that there's another way to go about this to kind of skip over the security part of the brain. So what I noticed that I do when I'm talking with mostly potential ambassadors, to kind of get past that, I really build them up. I've noticed that a lot of people aren't told that they can do stuff. Like they don't hear that often. So I compliment them and I make it sincere. I say, I know that you can do this. First of all, I wouldn't have come to you if I didn't think that you could do it. Like there's a reason that we're talking right now. And two, I build them up. I'm like, you can't do this. Like if I can do this, me, little Miss Pessimist Goober over here, who was homeschooled her whole life, can do this. Not saying homeschool's bad, by the way, just saying. Like if I can do it, you can do it. And I love the phrase of we all have the same products. We all have the same compensation plan. So if others can do it, you can freaking do it. And I point out, oftentimes I try to find them a diamond documentary that really appeals to them. So like if it's a single mom, I go and find a single mom documentary. Or if it's someone who's into missions, like there's a diamond that does missions. Like the good thing about there being so many diamonds in the company at this point is there's so many different stories that can relate to so many different people. But yeah, I really just focus on building them up. And like Alix said, I focus on getting over that fear of, well, I don't know if you're actually going to train me. Like I've noticed that that's what people are thinking in their heads of, I'm going to get in here and, she's just going to sign me and drop me, or I don't know what to do. And they don't realize all the training that we have. Like they don't understand, like, no, like we spell it out for you. Like we give you everything within our power that we can give you. Sorry. And, so like Alix said, doing the pre-mentoring, that's why it works so well, because it gets rid of those fears. They realize, hey, she is going to train me. She knows what she's talking about, or, he's really good. So really focusing on that and, introducing them to the new ambassador orientation and spelling out, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. Don't worry. I'm going to give you all the tools and resources you need. You can do this, and I'm going to help you. And that's really going to help close it, you guys. Like I said, I was doing this before I even learned about it, and signing up level 1 seems to be something I'm fairly good at. So sales, but level 1s, I got you guys. We'll go to Alix for the sales, but no, it works. It really does. And Victor Antonio is a very smart man, and he knows what he's talking about. Okay, so I'm going to finish up with another little analogy that Victor did. I'm going to do my screen share again and draw you guys. I'm going to show my fancy art skills here. Oh, we need to clear all this though. Clear all drawings. All right. You guys are going to see how great I am at this.
So Rachel, I was going to help you draw the elephant, but it's not going to let me do it. I'm on my phone now, and it's not going to let me do it there. I got booted off my iPad.
All right. Well,
you got this. Confident.
You got this. Be confident. I'm telling myself I can do it, and therefore I will.
Is that the trunk or the tail?
Which one should it be?
Tail.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. And then I gotta make the trunk here. Shut up.
I love you.
I love you too. All right, in case you can't tell, this is an elephant.
Yay, I can.
Good. Oh, wait, hold on. I need this. All right, so I'm going to draw a little stick person right here. His legs
If you can tell, we should not leave our plexus careers for art.
Yeah, don't quit. I shouldn't quit my day job, right? All right, so here we have the elephant. Now, ooh, I can do text. Let's see if that works. Emotional elephant. I don't know why I say that. Greg me into that. Emotional elephant here. And then right here we have the logical writer. Well, I wonder if I can move that around. There we go. All right. So logical writer and the emotional elephant. So imagine that, you know, the logical side of your brain is the writer. And he's like, you know what? We need to go left to get to where we're going. Logically, you know that you should do that. You should go left. But your emotional elephant says, I'm going to go right. And they go right. And because the elephant kind of does what he wants, emotion oftentimes takes over for people over logic. And you can witness that in other areas of your life. Like, let's say even you're just like in a fight with your spouse and you know logically that they're probably right, but emotionally you're right. But yeah, you guys can experience that in other places. So, I already forgot where I was going with this. The elephant distracted me. So we have to shape our path. Logically, like I mentioned before, logically they know this business makes sense. They know the comp plan, all right? The writer here, he knows the comp plan. He knows that he should do this. And we have to emotionally sell the elephant as well. So we have to appeal to that emotional side. So like I mentioned, sharing your testimony. Like I made a video of my business testimony, and you guys, the thing's been shared so many times, 100, maybe 1,000 times. I don't know. It's getting up there at this point, because it's an emotional story. And I'm not happy that I went through those struggles, but at the same time, I'm glad that I did, because it shows that I'm a real person and that anybody can do this. So selling it emotionally, whether it's the products, emotional testimonies, emotional compliant testimonies, you guys, they are great to share with your potentials, emotional business testimonies, or even, you know, like I mentioned, the diamond documentaries. I guess I can just have you stop looking at the elephant now.
Hey, Rachel.
Yep.
Another option as far as shaping the path and selling their emotional side is by having a conversation with them and finding out exactly what it is that, what triggered the illogical side for them. Like, oh, I need to make money. Well, why do they need to make money? Their emotional side is going to be attracted if you say, what if you could make an extra $500 for your family? Put food on the table. And really pulling on the emotional side, those strings. That's going to have the elephant that really is the one that's guiding everything here, because it doesn't matter where the logical writer wants to go. It's going to make him go, oh, okay, it's for my family. Okay, we'll go right now.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, like I mentioned before, people want a clear path. That elephant wants a clear path to go down. If he sees a barrier in one path, he's not going to choose it. So like Alex and I mentioned, it's really important to tell them how you're going to help them. So kind of interview them. If you don't know what their goals are with the business, you need to ask. I always interview my potentials. I say, you know, what is it that you want to achieve? What's a successful first month to you? How much is it that you're wanting to make? Sometimes I ask that, sometimes I don't. A more important question, how many hours a week are you willing to invest in your business? That tells me how invested they are. And then I also ask them, well, where do you see yourself in a year with this? And if someone tells me, well, heck, I want to be diamond next year, I'm like, all right, let's do it then. You know, if they're like, well, you know, we'll see where it goes. You can kind of gauge how in depth you want to train them. And, you know, like Alex said, you don't want to scare them off. If they just want to get their products covered, you don't want to train them to be a diamond. They're like, oh, no, thank you. But you also, if they want to be a diamond, you don't want to train them to just get their products covered, because then they're not going to be satisfied. So, really giving them a clear-cut path and explaining that to them. And, you know, Alex has a new ambassador orientation group. Ashlee and I and Adrian, we have one as well. It's really great to introduce new ambassadors to the business. slowly, with also giving them all the information that they need to really get off on a fast start. And Alix, I'm going to let you kind of touch on that, because you were talking about earlier how you mentioned giving them a return on investment with that.
Okay, so the way I really hype up new ambassador orientation, I think it's stellar. And once we have it really set in stone, I think it's really going to be something that produces a lot of growth for our team. But the hope with NAO is that these ambassadors will graduate having received a return investment on their business. So our hope is they will graduate the course of new ambassador orientation as a silver ambassador. However, NAO only runs 2 weeks. So the way I present it is, in your first 30 days, I am looking to help you receive a return investment on what you spend to join this business. So in your first month, not only are you going to get a return investment on what you put in, but you're going to make a little bit as well. Because if you think about it, I got a $99 welcome pack. I paid $133.95 plus shipping and tax. If you sign 3 people with a $99 welcome pack, that's $75 right there. And then you have a $100 bonus for going silver. That's more than what I paid to start my business. And it's really appealing to kind of show them that in their first month, they're going to already be able to see money rolling in. One of my girls that just got done with NAO has already signed, one of her first ambassadors. And she was so excited, like, oh my gosh, like I got a paycheck. Like I haven't even been doing this a month yet. Like it's happening and it's awesome. And it's a really great program. And I think, like I said, once we fine tune it, it will be there. So I really like to use that as a way to kind of set the path and let them know, like, hey, your first 2 weeks, I'm going to give you literally everything you need. It's going to be a lot at once, but you've got the rest of the time as an ambassador to figure this stuff out, and I'm here to help you. I feel like you can't ever touch enough on, I am here to help you. I am here to give you what you need. I am here to help you learn how to fly in this business. That is my job. I make it my job to do that. So I don't feel like you can share that enough. So yeah, that's NAO. I'm super passionate about it, super excited about it.
It's kind of awesome. I'm not gonna lie. So I just want to touch on real quick as well. You can't tell them enough that, hey, I'm here and I'm going to help you. However, if you say that, you need to own up to it. Don't think that, hey, I'm going to get them in here. I'm going to put them in new ambassador orientation. Going to do my job for me. I'll check in on them a couple times, see how they're doing, whatever. And then, when they run into a problem, just be like, oh, here's a video, figure it out, because you're busy and you have a life and you have, other customers and other ambassadors to take care of. But it is your job as their sponsor to take care of them. And I say this, not only to you guys, but to myself as well. I've struggled with this in the past. I currently have 40 active level 1s, and it is honestly difficult to keep track of everybody and make sure that I'm giving them everything that they need and they deserve. But I have had to suck it up and come up with a system in order to keep up with everybody and implement different strategies. Like I put them in small groups and I'm having them work together, and it's really great and easier to keep up with them that way. And I love it because it helps me connect with them more personally as well. But you have to own up to that, and you have to train people, and you have to give them your all if you're saying that's what you're going to do. And obviously your uplines, we're here to help you. But as their sponsor, that's your job. And so if you're new to training, if you're new to having a team, you need to learn how to do that. And it's going to take a little while. Training isn't something that just, oh, I have one person, Rachel told me how to do it and I know how to do it now. Like, no, it's a lot of growth. And especially as you get closer to goal and you're really focusing on leadership because you have a team underneath you now, you're constantly going to be growing and learning how to train better. So don't think you have to be perfect at it, but give it your all. And yeah, that's what you say you're going to do. Give it your all. So Ashlee, Alix, do you have anything else you want to add?
No,
we're good. I think you covered everything.
I covered everything I wanted.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you guys for getting on here tonight. And I hope that this really helps you. It's really been helpful to us. And I can't wait to see you guys soon on the next Zoom. Bye.